I would go with her to the nail salon because it was kind of like our life was so hectic at the time that it was like a break where her and I could just kind of sit there and just, what's up for next week and just kind of connect almost.
Yeah.
And so they suggested a toenail color and I was like, you know what, run it. And then I did it, and then the years of pedicures I had really nice feet, and then I went out around the pool, and then all the girls are like, "Wow, your toes better than mine," and I'm like, "I don't know. Well, this is
loves
fun.
the attention that the colored toes get."
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Legends of Zegan podcast, the podcast where we highlight everyday legends. And today I've got some incredible legends in the studio here in Mesa with me today. You guys are in for a real treat. I have known one of these two for a really long time here in Arizona, and he has brought his wife with him, and this is the power couple of Arizona, 100%. So without further ado, I'm excited to introduce you guys to Steve and Brie. How are you guys doing today?
Good, man. How you been, bro?
Great.
I'm amazing. Brie, you look fantastic.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thanks.
I expected nothing less from you guys.
That's a good intro.
Yeah.
It's
Thank
good
you.
stuff,
I
yeah.
appreciate that. Well, it's true. You guys are 100% legends. You are up to
Thank
so
you.
many big things in life, and I cannot wait. We're going to spend the entire podcast just blowing you guys up. You guys
Cool,
have
man.
accomplished so much, and you're continuing to do crazy big things. So I want to share that with the audience here. But also I want to talk about some of the things that you've gone through, right? Adversities, how you've overcome them. Because legends, I feel like, get more than most, right? That's why they're legends. They're the ones who are going through it more than anybody else is. And so I want to learn the origin story. I want to learn how you guys, get up in the morning, what makes you tick. So without further ado, let's kind of talk about your accomplishments, okay? So
Sure.
I want to talk, ladies first, Brie.
Yeah.
Sure.
You're an entrepreneur, right? You
Yes.
are a designer, an artist, a choreographer, a muralist. You are a small business owner. What else did I leave out of there?
I mean, that kind of encompasses everything. I call myself an artist when people ask me what I do for a living because I feel like that's the umbrella term, and I tend to lean to the humble side. And I don't, even though you're gassing me up and telling me that I've done a lot of things, I still feel like I am like this far in my journey.
Sure.
I think that's part of becoming maybe a legend, as you're saying, is having extremely huge ambitions. So just artist overall. I love to paint. That runs in my family. I'm third generation artist. And a lot of my family members went to art school, still go to art school, and kind of like a skill that's been handed down and celebrated in my family on both sides, my dad and my mom. And I love fashion. Fashion has always been my biggest passion. So I started my career endeavors in that realm and kind of just tumbled it into all of these other things that were related. Dance choreography was something I did growing up, and worked as a teacher during college. And I thought that was going to be a means to an end, but it snowballed into something much bigger. And I'm doing costume design for the dance productions, and then I'm doing stage production, and then I'm doing big events, and it's all just kind of blown up into this beautiful marriage of all my favorite mediums.
That's amazing. I think people spend their entire lives trying to get to the point where you're at, and you're young, and you're doing everything that you want to do, right? And you're out there getting paid to do it, which I think is amazing. So
It is.
Yes,
It is.
hats off to you, Brie.
Thank
You
you.
are crushing it. We're definitely going to dive into more about what you're doing, but Steve,
Yes.
bro, you are up to so many big things as well. And it starts as early as you're a veteran,
I
right?
am, yeah.
Air Force veteran?
Air Force, yep.
Okay.
F-16 weapons.
Yeah, nice.
Yep.
Good.
Luke, 309th Fighter Squadron. That's how I got out here to Arizona. So.
Respect, man. Respect.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for your service, bro.
Thank
I
you, bro.
appreciate you. You're also you're an entrepreneur as well. Big entrepreneur. Lots of moving parts there. So we'll definitely dive into the businesses that you're into. You're a DJ. That's how we met. A phenomenal, words can't express how phenomenal of a DJ you are, man.
Thank you,
are
brother.
absolutely my idol when it comes to DJing. And that's
you,
when
man.
I moved to Arizona. The first guy that I met in the DJ scene was Steve. DJ Slippy.
Yep.
so kind, so inviting, and I did not find that to be the norm here. And so it was amazing after meeting you. I'm like, oh, everybody's like that. It wasn't exactly the case, but yeah, thank you so much for just being the face of Arizona, the face of DJing here. You were the Arizona Diamondbacks official DJ.
Yep.
You are a musical artist, producer. You have a band now, right? Sancho's band.
I do. Yeah.
I cannot wait to talk about Sancho's band.
Yeah.
You are let's see, you are a partner with a tequila business as well, right?
I am. Yep.
Let's see, what else here?
Partner in the Hot Chick in Scottsdale, a nightclub bar.
Yes, yeah, the Hot Chick is incredible. You guys are doing big things over there as well, and
Thank
I
you.
definitely want to talk about the journey into that. So, you guys, we have so much to
We have a lot to talk about for
here
sure.
because you guys are just doing incredible things, and I want to know though, did I miss anything in regards to your resume?
I mean, honestly, I can't remember right now, but probably if it comes up, I mean, honestly, like it doesn't matter anyways. That was a great intro and you know, yeah.
I love it. And the one thing you guys, if you haven't noticed already, two of the most humble people as well. Like you guys are just so chill, just about people and about relationships, not about, I mean, money's amazing and I'm sure you guys don't have a hard time finding that, but it's more about the people you surround yourself with and making sure that people, respect you, but also they respect you, and so
Thank you for saying
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah,
That's
we
really
try.
humble.
We try really hard.
It feels like that gets lost a lot
I agree.
in translation and it's amazing that from a distance, that we're reconnecting now that you're able to gather that, because a lot of people see things online and they paraphrase or they put you in a bubble. And I think that her and I are both the type of people that, sure, we think about money because you gotta fill up your cup, but at the same time, our drive in life is not money first. It's either art or our people or our community or people around us that need us first. And all that other stuff is gonna come, man.
I love that. No, you guys are putting so much goodness out in the universe that there's just gonna come back, right? And it's
We
amazing.
hope.
Yeah, I was gonna say no is a strong word, but
Sometimes the faith is a little wary.
Yeah, because you're like, universe, what's going on? Like I'm manifesting all this really amazing stuff. I'm doing good things, but it doesn't always come to fruition, and that's the chaos, I think, of the universe as
The
well.
cycles are usually bigger.
Yes,
You know what I
yes.
mean? So sometimes it just takes a little longer.
Yeah, it's like a pendulum, right? Like it's so much good, and then all of a sudden, whoosh, it's like
that, and it's cutting out the things that no longer serve you.
Yeah.
To make way and allow for the energy that's coming forward, but that's usually a difficult thing to do when you're thinking about money, or you have a partner, or you have other people that
Yes.
that rely on you.
Yeah,
So,
I absolutely agree. Well, again, you guys are just, I can't say it enough. I can't state it enough. And I'm so pleased. This is actually the first time I've met your wife, Brie.
Yeah.
I have followed you for a while. I'm super impressed by everything that you're up to. But
Thank
tell me a little bit about, what, when you guys wake up in the morning, and I know you're a bit of a night owl, so maybe a little bit when you wake up in the afternoon, Steve.
Yeah.
But what motivates you when you wake up in the morning? And I'll throw this to you first, bro.
What motivates me when I get up in the morning? That's a difficult question, man. I hate getting up in the morning. What motivates me is at night. That's when the people that rely on us, the unfinished business that I have, most of the things that I've set forth to get, I've gotten. I don't know if that's the right word, but it's right now it's the people that rely on me. There's a lot of community around us that, there's some younger artists, and there's people that, it's probably very difficult now as a young DJ or a young artist to get ahead. So I personally like to build the platform that gives people a little bit more of an easier route than I had coming up. And I think that's kind of what gets me up in the morning.
I like that. I really respect that too. And I've been a beneficiary. You've been doing that for a very long time as well. I've been the beneficiary of that, right?
Awesome.
You absolutely, it started a long time ago doing that. And I think you just continued to build on that. But I like that you're out there trying to create and like mentor, maybe not direct mentor, but just, behind the scenes, like let me set the stage for some amazing things to happen.
Yeah, I'm trying to mentor, and I'm trying to be mentored. To be honest with you, and I recently have you're talking about the tequila thing and some other stuff. I'm recently been in some different rooms with people that are smarter and richer and more successful than me, and so trying to learn and trying to soak that all up so I can pass that on too
I like that. I that's smart. Surround yourself with people who know more than you, and you're just going to absorb that. That's brilliant, man. Good work.
Yep, thanks.
Okay, same to you, Brie. Now, what makes you get up every morning and attack the day?
I mean, ultimately, I think that we share the same vibe, but I'm the type of person that a lot of my self-worth comes from how much I get done in a day. So I'm like the maniac that wakes up like on a mission to get 100 things checked off of my to-do list. And at the end of the day, if I did all of those things, then I can finally sleep, and I won't sleep otherwise and drive everyone around me crazy until they all get done, which, has its benefits. But I think that more motivating is like what Steve was talking about, just knowing that what we're doing is creating opportunity for other creatives and other artists to achieve at least the same amount of success that we've already achieved, if not more, and that just art and creativity is what connects humanity. And so what we're doing, even though sometimes it doesn't feel as important as, anything technology or industrial related, like art is the key to our existence. And I think that what we're doing feels very important, not just on the platform for others' side, but just in the creating itself. So
No, that's brilliant. I think that's amazing. It's that's a purpose, right? You're waking up with a purpose every single day. Both of you are. And I think that's amazing. I think a lot of people maybe struggle with that purpose. They don't know what that is. And you guys, I thank the universe that you found that purpose, because that's amazing. And of course, I'm sure not every day you feel as motivated as other days.
No.
Depending on what maybe happened the night before.
Yeah.
Right. But talk to me a little bit about the routine of, do you have any rituals that you do in the morning? And I'll throw that to you, Brie.
Coffee, obviously.
Okay.
For somebody like
are
me.
we talking black coffee? Are you
I drink black coffee.
Really?
Yes, I do.
Hardcore?
Yes,
I
super
respect
hardcore.
that.
This
That's
guy
awesome.
likes coffee with his cream.
Yeah.
No, it's not that bad. It's not that bad.
It's not that bad, but no.
We try to do that. We do a high protein breakfast.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I'm type 2 diabetic, so she has definitely saved my life in a lot of ways with that. But I always say I wake up in sections. Typically, I'm the guy that's like, for example, this past week, I've probably been in the studio downstairs in our place till 4 a.m., 6 a.m. multiple times. So like waking up is relative to that.
He's nocturnal, not night owl.
Yeah.
But it's like they always say, you got to get done. You got to do it when it's there, And some of these guys that I'm working with, they're real dudes, and they're they want to pull up when they want to pull up, and so, me as the producer, the vessel to get that music or get their voice onto something sometimes takes being up till, super late. And thankfully, I have a wife that is cool with me doing that.
I think a common misperception too of Steve and like the hours that he keeps and the lifestyle that he has is, that he's just, staying up all night partying, whatever. But he's spent the last 20 plus years of his life building a career and a lifestyle that allows him to work freely and let his creative juices flow at whatever hour it happens. Yeah. So he doesn't have to restrict himself because he has to wake up for a 9 to 5 or whatever, which is really a massive accomplishment if you think about it. And a lot of people don't really see it that way because most of us are bound to a set of hours for a job.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm jealous, man. I would love to be able to show up and be 100% at any point in the day. And you've honed your body and your mind to be in that realm, which I think is a superpower.
It's an interesting take. 100% is aggressive, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it's like, you always say, like, when you get to the finish line, my wheels are going to be falling off the thing. But, like, at least I'm going to leave a wake of a legacy of something great. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I think that's amazing. And I like that. Actually, I want to segue over to that because that's 100% one of the topics that I love to cover is the legacy conversation, because I think everybody is out there driving towards some type of legacy, right? We want to be remembered in some way. And I want to talk about that a minute because I'm curious, you are up to so many big things. What do you want your legacy to be?
This is a question that often ask myself, and we talk about, and I often push, the musicians and the people around me to ask themselves about and ask themselves. I think that I've come back to my legacy is what I'm doing right now, man. Like the kindness to others, the uplifting people. I do a lot of disrupting. I'm not a yes man. And, I grew up on the south side of Chicago, bro. You had to stand on 2 feet. You have to look people in the eyes, and you got to be a real one, or you get your ass beat, or whatever the situation is. And so now I feel like I like to break in doors for people that are either afraid or not strong enough, or that the rest of the people around are making uncomfortable. And I kind of feel like that's my legacy, is to open these doors and show people like, hey, we all deserve a seat at the table, and we all deserve a shot. And if you don't want to give this person a shot, you're going to do it while I'm standing here. And so that's kind of what I feel like my legacy is, to stand up for others and kind of, like I said, create that platform.
That's amazing, man. Wow, that's really well said too. I love that. That's powerful, honestly, because I think that there's not a lot of people who have that type of moxie, and whether it was because of what Chicago did to you growing up. I mean, thankfully that was an upbringing you had, because that created the legend that you are today, man. I mean, honestly, you're doing what most people won't do, and that's stand up for other people.
Thank you.
And so thank you for doing that, man. And
yeah,
it's dude, it's amazing. You're such a great person for doing that. And
thank you. I appreciate that, dude.
No, thank you. Bree, let's talk about your legacy. What do you want your legacy to be?
I hate continuing to say the same answer as him over and over, but truly that is why we have such a successful relationship, a successful marriage. We own a business together, and a lot of our endeavors are very much aligned because we have shared that same dream and same desire for the same legacy for so long. So I think, opening doors for people opportunity-wise, but also opening doors in people's minds. I'm a teacher. I've been teaching kids in dance at a studio for 20 years, and been able to connect with them, some of them for 15 years at a time, from the time they're 3 until they graduate high school. And cool. Being able to even if it's just dance, and it's often a lot more than just dance, but even if it's just that, being able to plant little seeds and see those seeds grow in their minds. And it doesn't matter if I'm getting anything, monetary out of it. Just being able to watch that happen is probably the most rewarding thing. So if I can continue to do that on a large scale with just art and creativity in general, then that's the legacy I want to leave.
I love that.
Yeah, we're not, not to get too crazy, but we're probably not going to have children. Most people say their legacy is children, which rightfully so. Mm-hmm. So I still think there's a part 2 to the answer of this that we're looking for, whether it's, some type of creative community space like this, that we leave our treasures to when we pass on. We still got a lot of space, so I don't want to get there yet. But yeah, I mean, we don't know. We're figuring out part 2, but I think we're trying to live part 1 right now and do what we can right now.
Part 1 right now is amazing. And are you guys satisfied with part 1? Do you feel like you're successful? And
Never.
I'm going to ask Bree so that he can
have the same answer.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. If I'm being truthful, I don't ever feel successful. I really don't. I know that that's probably sounds strange to some people, but it's hard for me to maybe just allow myself to feel that, because the goals are so big and because I see so far forward in my vision and my plans for what I want to do. It's like, people often give us praise and give us our flowers, and I'm very, very grateful for that. And I'm extremely grateful for what we have achieved, but it feels small so far. So it's hard for me to really step back and say, this is it,
Yeah.
Because it's not it.
That's good, though. That's a good answer, because I think a lot of people, they're chasing that success, and once they get there, right, it's climbing the mountain, and they're like, I made it to the top. Most people who are driven just look at the horizon and see the next mountain they're going to try to climb, and I think that's where you're at for sure. Steve, what about you, man?
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely feel successful. I've worked really hard, and I've whether it's worldly possessions like the Diamondbacks ring that I recently got, or something like that. But it's a 2-part answer, because I have gotten to all of the things that I've asked for and worked hard for. and it didn't feel the way that I wanted it to feel or that I thought it would feel. So now, you know, I've kind of switched gears and you know, I guess compliments make me a bit uncomfortable because either the way I was raised or whatever the situation was. But, you know, there, like she said, there's a lot of work to do. And although, yes, I feel like it's difficult, man. It's difficult as a creative to accept the praise, but also remain humble at the same time. So it's, you know,
the challenge is real for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah, I totally get that. And I want you to just take a moment and sit in the accomplishments that you've achieved thus far. I mean, do you guys ever just sit down and be like, holy shit, we did all that? Like, has that ever happened to you?
I have recently, actually.
Good for you.
Yeah, I'm kind of
glad.
switching gears with where I'm putting my energy in my artistic career. So I've been applying for some shows and some, you know, just doing some art submissions lately. And as I'm updating my portfolio or putting together these proposals, I kind of stepped back and I was like, she's a badass. Okay.
Yes, good.
So it's
good.
there. I know it's
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, like for me, how I quantify, I guess, is like, you know, so recently, so I kind of hoard everything like as little mementos of my career. And, you know, I've gotten bags and bags of backstage passes and just like, you know, credentials from Fiesta Bowl and from ASU and all these things. And so every once in a while, as I'm like retuning the studio or doing, she's really good at like, hey, why is all that crap in a closet? Let's get it out. Let's get it in a frame. You know, let's enjoy it.
I love that.
As I'm going through it, I'm like, holy crap, man. Like there's stacks of seasons of things and just artists I've worked with and just like, you know what I mean? That's the moment where I'm like, yeah, hey dude, maybe you should chill out a little bit. Maybe you should take
Don't be
a moment.
so hard on yourself.
And
Yeah.
and now I find myself telling, you know, like I just messaged my guy Wani Bravo last night. He's playing in Ibiza with some big DJs at the biggest nightclub in the world. And I just felt I had to say, hey, bro, take a second, enjoy the moments. I'm proud of you. It's great seeing you thriving, because you know that's when you're gonna feel like you've done something. Is when you tell yourself to pause in that moment and smell the roses.
Yes.
And
because it
reminding
works.
each other, reminding one another, other creatives, other people that we surround ourselves with. I think it's important we all remind each other.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Like you just did for us.
Yeah. No, I think it is necessary, right? And be proud of yourself, because that's the whole point, right? It's not the destination, it's the journey, and we kind of try to fast forward and get to that end goal, forgetting all of the blood, sweat, and tears that took to get there, and that comes with, you know, the cool shit that you get, right? Those material things, those reminders, the photos, you know, and I think we just we kind of like we're just trying to race, and I think there's oftentimes this missed opportunity to appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. I've found myself recently trying to just put myself as much in the moment. Like, you know, I've been in the studio with some goofy people in the best way possible. And I'm like, what can I do right now to just have a good time and not think about it? You know what I mean? So like I'll take somebody's laugh or something and I'll loop it and I'll turn it into a beat. Now everyone's like in the moment and, you know, having a good time and just laughing about it versus taking it so seriously and worrying about where's this record going to go? Where's this going to happen? It's like, again, that moment, that the journey, I hate the word journey, but not the band. And, you know, that moment right there, where everyone is laughing and, you know, hey, eating good food, you know what I mean? That's where we're vibrating in.
I love that. Yeah, because there's so much positive energy in that space, in that realm, right? Where amazing things are going to come out of that, right? If you're congratulations, you are working on an EP, right? Almost done.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, honestly, creating that positive energy, that's going to be reflected in this album, right? So when you listen to it, you're gonna feel that positive energy versus listening to an album maybe that was rushed or, you know, very stressed. I don't know. Like when I listen to music, I can almost identify with where that person was at in their life when they're making that music. And I think as artists, we've all kind of tried to put that into whatever we're creating. But I love the happy stuff, you know, the positive vibes.
I mean, the positive vibes are cool. The sad vibes are cool too. I mean, you know, not to go backwards. I hate talking about the 2020 scenario, but you know, it was a difficult time for a lot of people. And my wife is one, you know, saved my life in a lot of ways, and she's been the community for a lot of my friends and artists in a lot of ways. And when that happened, the 2020 thing happened, we kind of locked in, and did some good things, did some bad things.
Bad.
They were fun things, but
We found inspiration.
we found inspiration, but it was sad. It was very sad. And
Yes.
and I found a stride with my friend Dan G at that time, and her and some other people around me to just kind of not think so much about it and just be in flow state and let it come out. And some of it's aggressive. Some of the music we were making at the time is aggressive. Some of the art that she was making is aggressive at the time, but it was sad, and that's where we're at. And now we're happy again, and that's also an amazing part of it. So
Contrast is so important, not just as artists, but as people. How can you ever truly experience real happiness if you've never felt sadness?
I like that. That's absolutely true. Yes, it's kind of that yin and yang, right? Where it's just the contrast. You need the positive with the negative to really be whole. Which I think
perspective, yeah.
Absolutely.
yeah, and one of the things she's taught me is the beauties and the imperfections. Some people don't like that. I didn't like it for a long time, and just she's helped me get out of being so rigid and 1, 2, 3, 4 in the studio, and
Feels more organic when there's imperfections.
yeah,
I like that.
Yeah.
Are you a perfectionist?
I am.
Okay.
In some ways.
In some ways, I mean, she hates when I say this, but definitely, some. I don't want to say ADHD, but some
You
type of
are.
hypersensitivity to things. So when I lock in on something and I'm passionate about it, I'm a perfectionist, but not about cleaning the house or
Sure,
like that
sure.
kind of crap. Or
Yeah, I think it can be very segmented. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
My wife just told me, she was like, I think you're a perfectionist in a couple of areas in my life, even though I'm just like, no, look at my office. Like, there's no way.
Right.
She's like,
Right.
no, it can actually be in just a specific area. And I was like,
Yeah.
oh,
It's called, what I've learned is called object permanence, right? Like if it's not directly in front of my face at the time, or it's not like super important, I guess I have to decide whether it's important or not.
Yeah.
It's like the 80% rule. What I spend 80% of my time on the 20% of the shit that matters. That's kind of
What did you said something to me the other day when we were arguing, and it was like he prioritizes his tasks in order of survival. Like is this one crucial to survival, and then like so on all the way down the list. That's
Okay.
how he organizes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
how he organizes what to do in the day.
because I'm a warrior, bro. Like at the end of the day, like if it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter. If it matters to you, but it doesn't matter to me, then it doesn't matter at all. So it's
So
like
the dishes are not
the dishes. No,
necessary for survival.
the dishes are not going and getting the bag of money so the dang lights can stay on in our house. Is
Thank you.
fair enough. Yeah, I think that I can't argue that logic 100%. Maybe Brie could argue the logic, but again, it's,
I'm not arguing.
Yeah, but
but
that's-
I'm also
she gets the money too, so it's a little difficult, to say hey or whatever. She's like, well, dude, sorry. She's like, dude, I'm doing it too. So why can't you? Do
And
it?
I'm OCD about my space. Like if my space is a mess, then my mind is a mess.
Yes,
That's
yes.
the type
My mind's
of
already a
brain that
mess.
I have. Yeah. But he's organized chaos. Like everything in his room is all over the place, but he usually knows exactly where everything
Right,
is.
yeah.
You know? So
Until we're condensing,
yeah. It's all right.
Wink. I love that.
It's a process.
So your OCD, would you consider yourself perfectionist in a lot of areas,
Yes.
or just in your space visually?
Yes. I've always been that way. And I think that it tormented me and kind of put me in a mental prison for a very long time. And then this guy came along and really rattled my cage and broke me of some of those things in the best way possible.
Yeah.
So, like I said, sometimes you need that contrast in your life to give you perspective on what's important. And he has helped me with that a lot. I think there were probably many years of my life where if everything wasn't in its place and spick and span in my living space, I literally couldn't get any work done, even if it was, schoolwork, homework, whatever. And that would hinder me from probably doing some of the more important tasks on my list. Sure. And I'm learning, I'm learning to be flexible and resilient. So
yeah, I have an album coming out. Not to bring it back to me, that was a beautiful thing. But
Do it.
me and my boy Dan, we have this saying we call it being a box, right? And it's like when you're a box, you're keeping everything in, dude. And it's if you're wrapped too tight, then you have one drink, and what happens? The box opens and it's messy, right? You got too much stuff in the box. So that's you can't be a box so much.
box.
But also you can't be she's brought a lot of structure to my life, and it's been very difficult because I'm not like that, but I've been using like Google Calendar and trying to like write down things with pen and paper. And I know that sounds like to most people, he said, wow. Like to most people, it's
monumental.
Like, man, come on, man.
I'm just
like, no, but it's like, that you ain't up here, man. So like, like to do something like that, to come that way, to come, that far to me is difficult, but I'm seeing the benefits of it. I'm seeing the structure. And that's what, as much as I've set her free, she's kind of helping me contain and
I like that.
Yeah.
No, that's very cool that you are both kind of helping each other. And I mean, that's what a relationship is about, right? Helping the other person in whatever capacity, you can. And I want to ask a little bit about the relationship because you guys are such phenomenal individual pillars. What's it like being married and how do two powerhouses, come together in the household? What do you guys? What does that look like? I mean, because I don't expect you guys to be like sitting down, holding hands, saying a prayer before dinner type of thing. But what does your time together mean? Or maybe you do.
Well, the prayer is relative, but I mean, we like last night we held hands in bed. The night before we held hands in bed, we're definitely
really.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about that too because I was like, dang, we've been married a long time to be like, I wonder if other couples are holding hands in bed and watching TV and stuff like at this point.
I didn't even think about it. Really, it's just
I'm sensitive.
I like that.
He's the romantic for sure.
Really?
Yeah, go ahead. You can answer that question though. I'll let you take it first.
I mean, marriage period, I'm sure you can attest to, is hard as hell.
Yes.
It's not easy for anyone, even if you are best friends, even if you are super compatible and very aligned in all that you're doing. It's difficult to live with someone and coexist. And if you're both very strong personalities, it is work all day, every day.
Yeah.
But for us, it's worth it. So, we do whatever we have to do. And it works,
And sometimes, I mean, man, it gets messy, like we definitely, the word fight is an aggressive word, but we disagree a lot. And sometimes
we have heavy debates.
We have heavy debates. Yeah. And sometimes, we'll be at ends for a week, and just kind of two ships passing in the night type thing. And then, we both just try to take the difficult road and sit down and go, all right, what's really the deal here? What's really bothering you? And some stuff, I mean, we got open books right now, that we haven't finished up, but I think that's always going to be with a marriage.
You always will.
Yeah.
And she's my best friend, and I can say anything to her. I say everything to her. And I think if you have that, then that's truly the base of your marriage. Then, you're gonna want to kill each other sometimes every once in a while.
Yeah.
But
for us, I think the key is also being those independent pillars and allowing. He hates the word allow or let, which I don't mean it in that way because we're not telling each other what to do or trying to have control of each other, which is the point. Being free to be independent and yourself and moving the way that you feel that you need to move in your own living space and in your walk of life and in your career without feeling like you are obligated to, doing it the way the other person wants. Of course, we still check in with each other. Of course, we're trying to be mindful and considerate of one another as much as possible, but we allow each other to just be our true selves and not interfere. If he's got a studio night and I know in advance that he's got a studio night and he wants to stay up until 6 a.m. with the guys, making crazy hip-hop rap songs. No, they're always, everyone that comes to our house to do that is very respectful of me and our home, but I can't be the wife that's like, come to bed,
It's still our home, though, and
it's still your home.
It's still our home.
It is ours, but it's his as much as it is mine.
Yeah.
So,
I like that.
But still, like the other night, it was like we were in there. I've been waiting a long time to work with some dudes that were over there, and she knows. I've been telling her about it, and even we wrapped a song in like 2 hours or something like that, and the guy's like, yo, I still got time. Let's do another one. I said, hey, hold on. Let me go check in real quick. And they were just kind of looking at me. And I was like, I'm not checking in because I'm a punk. I'm checking in because that's my best friend and I respect her space and this is our house. And they were both like,
because he does that, it makes me more inclined to be less,
Yeah.
invasive
Yeah.
when he's in his zone and doing what he needs to do to achieve his dreams.
I like that. That's so cool. It's like it's open line of communication,
Yes.
and that's important. Now I know you guys have been married. You said you're coming up on 8 years, right? Congratulations.
What year did we meet at San Felipe's?
I think 2004 or 5.
So do you want the story how we met? Or
Yeah, absolutely. I
do you want me to tell it?
I was going to
You
say
go
right
ahead, tell
there,
it.
but
Or tell your version
crushed
of it.
My
Yeah.
version. All right.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
So I was DJing at a place called San Felipe's up in DC Ranch. Probably what 2007.
That was
or
the
so?
spot.
2006. Yeah, it was the spot because I made it the spot.
No,
But-
it was like maybe 0405 was
yeah. Okay.
Club
It was,
Rio.
it was a little earlier.
It's a little blurry back then.
It's a little
but-
blurry,
Yeah,
but
that's fair.
yeah. So there's at the time it hip hop was a little different vibe, and she came up, pretty blonde girl, and
To
was
the
like-
VW bus
there
DJ
was-
booth.
Oh, I hate any DJ booths on wheels or that have ladders or stairs are the worst freaking thing you can ever see in your life.
I thought it was so cool.
Like, no, it looked cool.
Visually, yeah.
But, and then as soon as someone grabs and starts twerking, the whole damn thing's moving.
Can I make a request?
So yes. So anyway, she pops up and she's like, "Can I get Gorilla Zoe Hood figure?" Right? And at the time, that was like, I don't need a scale for the perp. I got high ball. You know what I mean? Like it's a gangster
I thought
song.
I was
So I was
in
like,
your heart started.
well, I was just
palpitating
like,
with
what
it?
do you know about that? And she was like, oh, I know about that. And I was like, okay, girl, whatever. So she was like, well, can I make the request? I was like, well, I don't take requests, but here's my phone number. Text it to me and I'll consider it. You know what I'm saying? So
Genius.
yeah.
Genius.
I got a
Very
few.
smooth.
I got a few tricks.
Yeah.
But at the time, we were both dating other people, and we slowly realized that we ran in the same circles. So we would cross paths a lot and be with the same group of people or in the same places very frequently.
Yeah. And I don't know. I thought I either thought you would be like, rude or stuck up or whatever, not give me the time.
I get it.
But I really respected what she was doing because from a distance, I saw her building a clothing brand and putting her money where her mouth is, and just like investing in herself. And I would go, she was go all over the valley and she's doing fashion shows and things like that. And I knew that if I was going to find somebody that would understand truly what I was doing and putting my money in the hustle that I was on, it was going to be, someone like her, specifically her. And so, kind of, went back and forth, dated most of her friends throughout the years.
You
and
did.
I did.
Not most of. He dated a few of my friends. Yes.
I love this. This is great.
Wasn't all, but
He likes to embellish.
I have a penchant for the dramatic.
Yes.
So anyways,
he's writing his movie script.
it's a good one.
It's gonna be a great movie.
Yes.
100%.
The book will probably be better, but no. So anyways, I worked with this band, and they're friends of mine, and she was friends with the drummer's wife. And fast forward, they asked me to do a wedding. It was out in California, and I saw her there. She did the dresses, and just at that
Bridesmaid
moment, she's bridesmaid dresses. Yeah. At the moment, she's passing by, and I said, "Shoot your shot," and I was just like, "Hey, dresses look great." She was like, "Really? Thank you." And then, the rest is history.
It was
pretty
the
much.
shout
Yeah,
outs
so-
on the microphone during the reception for me.
Always is.
Oh, that's
That's
He kept shouting me out, and then he kept calling me up to the DJ booth for a shot, which I like to party. So
Now you're giving
it
out all
was
my
working
tricks.
for me.
You're giving
Yeah,
out all my
right?
tricks now,
I
dude.
know.
The text trick and the mic trick.
Yeah, and the coins. The coin
that's
sounds.
number 3 now. Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
Everybody knows. Come on,
Those
it's
are
not a secret.
amazing skills you've honed over years. But obviously, it landed you the most incredible person on the planet.
Absolutely.
So those powers were used for 100% good, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy, though, that you guys have known each other for so long. And then you happened to be in a space where it was
Yeah.
the right time. And that's all, that's what it is.
She
It's
definitely, after the fact, ran the other way from me. It was like,
For
I
like
did not
2 weeks.
not with this crazy person. You know what I mean? Which rightfully
Well,
so.
I was
at
like,
the-
okay, this guy is known for this brand, you know,
Yes,
and then
yes.
he's dated this person and this person and this person that I'm friends with.
Yeah.
So it seemed immediately like the wrong answer.
Yeah.
But he was very hard in his pursuit, and I couldn't deny what was inevitable.
Yeah. What was it about Brie that you you obviously knew that she was up to a lot in her life, but I mean, was it just the physical attraction? Was it the things that she was doing? And it's a hard question to ask.
Yeah,
but
I mean, obviously, she still does have a big booty. Had a big booty at the time, so obviously that was great. But no, I mean, I don't know. It sounds funny, but just her energy, man. You know, and like again, I said that if I was ever going to be married or be with somebody that, you know, I was going to see longevity. I don't want to do this over and over again. If I'm going to do it, it'd be one time. I'm going to need somebody that understands what it's like, again, to put your money where your mouth is, to set a goal, to set a dream, and then, you know, shoot for the stars. Yeah. And she does that. She continues to do that. And, you know, I guess that's the best answer.
That is perfect, man. Yeah, I think that's a great reason to jump headfirst into a lifelong, you know, marriage, right? A commitment. Yeah. And again, it's, you know,
I want to hear her answer.
I absolutely want to hear it as well. Yeah. What?
No,
what
I think that's just it. I think, you know, as young people who are sold a fairy tale growing up about what love is supposed to look like and what marriage is supposed to look like, I think we all really get caught up in the wrong qualifications for people. You know, just like the superficial stuff or, you know, what a person looks like or what their social status is or maybe what their financial plan is, which is not to say that that's not important because it is to a degree. But I think the most important thing is your compatibility of life path. You know, I think if everyone led with that foot instead of some of the other things, that it would make marriage for most people a lot easier, or make finding a soulmate or just finding a partner to go through life with, you know? That's really more of what it is. It's a companion to go through life with. And if you're on a similar path or a similar trajectory, or at least moving at the same pace with one another, then it definitely makes for a much more fruitful situation.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree. It's advantageous to both parties to be, kind of on the same wavelength. I think that's where a lot of marriages maybe don't work out, is because there's something missing, or there's some drastic changes that happen, right? Where I wanted to ask though, has Steve changed since when you first, not when you first met him, when you got married versus today? Because it's been, you know, almost 8 years.
Yeah.
Is he different than he was when you first married him?
Oh, absolutely. He's still very much Steve, you know, he's still very much the Slippy brand. And there's that persona that exists very authentically, but he's also grown into this man who is a lot more self-aware and in tune with all of his emotions and his, dare I say, feminine side, which is extremely admirable. I think that makes us all very powerful to be able to tap into both sides of that spectrum, both masculine and feminine, as any human, any gender. And I think that's been like the most beautiful thing to watch in him grow and change.
Very cool. Very cool. I'm actually kind of bummed to see that none of the nails are painted today.
Well, yeah. The toes aren't either.
I know,
for once.
Well, I had to let him breathe for a little bit. Yeah.
Actually, it's usually the toes, though, right?
Yeah,
it's usually
yeah.
the
Fingernails.
toes.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the crazy segue. But no, I mean, when I was in the service, man, and I got out, I was out here at Luke. And so obviously, you know, I worked on the flight line. I would sweat in my boots all day, and I had really nasty feet after. Won't even get into it. So I started, you know, obviously in Arizona, you got to be out at the pool and stuff like that. So I started getting pedicures, and for many, many years, I just did it without any crazy, you know, toenail polish. No, don't do that. And then, after COVID or something, like 2020 or something, or maybe just slightly before that.
Yeah, it was before.
Yeah, the lady, you know, like, I would go with her to the nail salon because it was kind of like our life was so hectic at the time that it was like a break where her and I could just kind of sit there and just, you know, look at each other and be like, so what's up for next week? You know, what's up for next week? And just kind of connect almost. Yeah. And so they suggested a toenail color, and I was like, you know what, run it. And then I did it, and then the years of pedicures I had really nice feet, and then I went out around the pool, and then all the girls are like, "Why are your toes better than mine?" And I'm like, I don't know.
He
Well, this is fun.
loves the attention that the colored toes get.
But
so
also-
It's cool, though.
Let's just be real.
Yeah, but also like foot health is a thing, right? Like you know, if you're a dude and you got snaggle toes or whatever it is, you know, and you're in bed with a pretty girl or your wife or whatever it is, like you should get your toes done. You should get that thing tuned up. And I feel like a lot of the places for you know, men to go and get that done are very feminine, and not a lot of guys are as confident in you know, not giving a shit as much as I am. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, that's another goal that I have down the line. I don't want to give away too much, but you know, I'd like to create spaces for men to not have to feel so feminine if they don't want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I got some ideas. I don't want to give away too much, but
And on the health side of things, as a diabetic, it's important to, to
really?
maintain your
Yeah, oh,
feet and your toenails.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. That absolutely, that tracks. Now
Tell
that
them
I
about
think about it.
your grandmother.
yeah, my grandmother was diabetic. It was a different time period, but you know,
Right.
they definitely they removed both of her legs, and you know, she was I
Just a
remember.
small infection can
Yeah.
cause a diabetic.
Wow.
something
Yeah, and
like
it was in stages. It was you know, it was a toe first or something like that, and it's kind of morbid, but you know, and then it just kept taking more and more and more. So
that. So get your pedicures.
yeah, get your
Yeah,
pedicures.
keep an eye on your feet at all times. I've never gotten one, but I see the posts. I love it, man. I love when I see your feet painted, and it's amazing. But I've never done it. I don't know if it's more that I'm just maybe shy to like go in and have some
Right.
random stranger, you know, take a look at my feet.
It's too-
Especially
it's-
when you're the minority
yeah,
in the
It's too
place
hard.
that you're
also
going.
the only guy in the
Yeah.
salon. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you should have your girl take you.
Yeah, sure.
But like, it's weird. It's weird to have someone touching your feet. Even now, when they do it, you know, and they're scrubbing stuff off or whatever, I'm still squirming a little bit in the seat. But like, you know, I took my friend Mike, who is you know, a hardworking guy. He's worked 20 years in you know, construction and that kind of stuff. And you know, I was like, come on, man, let's go get some. Me and the boys took him. We got a pedicure. We lined up the whole spot
That's
with a bunch
so
of dudes.
rad.
And
I love that.
I didn't expect it, but you know, we look over and the guy's over getting a pedicure. I mean, a manicure afterwards. Like, oh, my guy's locked in now, bro. Like he's getting
Yeah.
the pedicure and the mani.
Yeah.
So
phenomenal, man.
stuff.
You're creating a movement, and yeah, I can't wait to see the next iteration of what this could be.
Oh, yeah.
For other men. I think that's amazing. That's very cool. You talked about your grandma, and I love that. That's actually a good segue, because I wanted to see about, you know, the importance of family for you guys. And Brie, I don't know much about your family, so maybe you can clue me in. I do know a little bit about your mom, though, and I wanted to see if you wanted to touch on that. and
Sure,
what you're
sure,
going through.
yeah. I had a very like picture perfect childhood, you know, from the outside perspective. My dad was a paint contractor. He's also an artist, but he, you know, painted homes and then eventually moved up into the commercial world, and he was gone, you know, 15 hours a day sometimes. So he instilled a very like hard work ethic in me. And my mom stayed home with us and was just like the most loving, doting mother that anyone could ask for. Sometimes a little too much. Sorry, Mom. But they, you know, they gave me a really good life growing up. Not to say that it wasn't tumultuous in its own ways at times, but they're both 75 now, and my mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's a couple years back, and she's had symptoms of it for probably 5 or 6 years, but that was a really hard pill to swallow and actually go in to see a specialist and find that answer. I think that was, you know, that's the last thing that anybody wants. So she was really avoiding that for a long time and hoping that it was, you know, allergies or arthritis or vision or whatever
Something
it was.
else.
Yeah.
Anything else.
Yeah, so it's been extremely difficult. The holidays this year, 2024, this past year, were where things started to really take a turn. And the last several months, it's been exceptionally difficult. She's still very much aware and still very much present, but she struggles with her motor skills and she struggles with her eyesight. So the form of Alzheimer's that she has basically hinders her brain's ability to process the information that her eyes are receiving. So she could ask where her water is, And I'll be like, that blue thing right there. And maybe there's, a red thing right here. And she'll grab, it's like, I don't know if it's colors or just objects, but she can't see usually what's right in front of her.
Wow.
So it kind of, that basically makes her non-functional, So her whole life's been turned upside down, and my family is just kind of out of sorts. And I think the part of it that's been the most difficult for me, I know there's a lot of resources out there, but that can be very daunting to have to just like dive into reading articles and, even just going to support groups and things like that is just like, it's very overwhelming. And I wish, now that I'm talking about it with a lot more people, I wish that I had known growing up in my life until now. I'm 40, I just turned 40, how common these things are and how many people experience Alzheimer's, dementia, just the whole aging process in general, and all the things that the human mind and the human body go through inevitably, and how the generations preceding us really didn't talk about it. It was kind of shunned on the same way that politics and religion is. And I would like to hopefully be an advocate for conversations with people that you love or people that you're friends with, just to like talk about it more, what we're going through, how to navigate it better, maybe something that you did that worked with your grandparents or your parents. I can share the things that I'm doing with my friends and my loved ones, just because I don't think that that's happening enough.
Yes, I agree. It's not very, it's not talked about or communicated very well, because I think people are obviously dealing with a lot around it, but also, I don't know, there is a stigma, it's like what is it? The herd mentality, right? And if you're weak, you get left behind, right? So everybody's moving forward. And if you've got some illness, right? I think autism, there's now this
literally just going to say
big
that
movement towards, more awareness around autism, and people that you've known growing up that you're like, oh, they'll go get diagnosed and they're like, yeah, I'm on the spectrum. And I'm like, no way. How does that make you feel? And they're like, I'm glad I finally know, why I am this way. And I think that's powerful. And so,
I think it's all relative to the user too. When I first got diagnosed with type 2, not to switch gears on your mom, but people say a lot of things or they don't say anything at all. And you're right. Like, I felt wounded when I was physically wounded at the time, but I felt it. I felt like when someone diagnoses you with something, you feel less than, right? Because there's a human sitting in front of you going, hey, you have this life-altering, this chronic situation. And then you have to deal with what you're saying, the herd mentality, or hey, you can get rid of diabetes, right? And it's like, you just want to punch people out. And I still do right now. You tell me you can get rid of it. Like, really, bro? Like, I have a pick in my arm. You know what I mean? And I'm doing everything that I possibly can. And it's not happening. So it's all relative. Like, what her mom is going through is different than what your mom is going through. But if we can all get together and kind of talk and figure out, even just how you doing.
Exactly.
That part. And I was going to use autism as well as the example, because the movement for awareness has become so strong. I feel like people, with a diagnosis that is either misunderstood or people are uneducated about, they often find themselves in a very lonely space because others don't know how to navigate just a simple conversation with them. And it's scary. So instead of just saying, hi, how are you doing? Or what's going on? And, not getting the reaction that they are used to, they just shy away, or they avoid seeing those people or being around those people. So my mom's been super lonely, and I think it's just making people aware so that everyone's just more comfortable with, like, she's still there. It's still her. It's definitely weird. It's different, but having the comfortability with knowledge, that you can just still hang out. And we play Play-Doh together. That's like our, cool. Well, we don't play Play-Doh. Sorry. We make abstract art sculptures.
Create, yes.
Explain why, though. Explain the scenario why, because I think that's a beautiful thing. I've been telling a lot of people about it.
Yeah, I was trying to find an activity that we could do that would, A, connect us, and B, just give her something to keep her busy that didn't have like a win or a lose result, or like a some kind of some kind of scoring for herself where she felt like she didn't do a good job or whatever. So I said, let's start making abstract art together. And she's a musician, so she's artistic, but not in that way. So I kind of opened up this door for her. And I find that when she's like using her hands and just rolling balls of Play-Doh or just making whatever random shapes, she starts talking a little bit more freely, which is one of the symptoms of Alzheimer's. She's really struggled to articulate her thoughts or find the right words to say. And when we're doing this activity together, she suddenly can speak more clearly. And then she's excited because we made an Instagram page. It's a whole thing. So we made an Instagram page, and I'll come over and I'll read her all the comments from people that have been looking at the creations that we're making with the Play-Doh. And yeah, it's really been a beautiful thing for us and kind of establishing this new type of relationship between the two of us. And I hope that other people come do it with her too. You know, I've made other people aware that that's something she enjoys. And I don't know, I think just creativity and art for people with any kind of, you know, mental health condition that's going to be like,
therapy.
it's going to be a form of therapy.
Yeah, we've me and the boys. I mean, she's gotten some good concerts in the last few months. Yeah,
That's so cool. You'll play for her.
Yeah,
You'll
and-
invite her down into the studio.
No. We'll go over there.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
they
like,
take all the instruments.
and I mean, I got some really talented musician friends. So, you know, like the other night, my buddy Steven, he's like Mozart on the piano, and he just went over there and they sat on the couch and he was just
and
playing
she
those
cried.
Yeah, I mean, it's
like happy tears, of course.
You know, I went over there with my bandmate Christian and you know, played Hotel California for her, and she just, I mean, yeah, I mean that's the kind of stuff. I mean, there's not much that you're gonna be able to do to ease that, but it's
the
like,
amount that it lifted her spirits was just like magical. And yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Like the art is the most important key to our human connection.
Absolutely.
I agree.
And our joy.
Yes, absolutely. It can connect, anybody and everybody, right? And I love that you're creating, or you're being flexible in your mom's condition and as it's changing, and that's got to be hard, obviously. But the fact that you're like, hey, this is happening. You're facing the reality of it. It's radical, of course, but you're jumping into it. And I mean, man, when you're talking about your friends going on, I mean, I'm sitting here like trying not to cry because I'm like, that's so beautiful. Like the support that you guys are generating.
Oh my gosh. That's genuinely our
you.
circle is, I mean, we've chosen obviously to surround ourselves with very authentic people, but just to have my friends reach out and be like, hey, is it cool if I go visit your mom, or can I come play piano for her on Thursday?
I mean, drove over in rush hour traffic, you know.
It's pretty freaking cool.
I think that, you know, a lot of my friends and a lot of the people around us, they look like goons, and they are goons. A lot of us come from from a very tough background, you know, some of them actual Goonies, you know what I mean? And I think that one of the most common misconceptions, to go back to what we were saying earlier, and you asked if I changed, is that you know, the only thing I give a shit about is time. The only luxury in life is time. All these rings, bracelets, trophies, all this shit don't mean nothing. Can't take them with you. And so, you know, our focus is, you know, work as much as we can, work as hard as we can, but also the priority is time and community and vibrating with your friends, and you know what I mean, doing those kind of things. And it's you know. I think that's what a lot of our friends understand, is that even just a small window of time is so much more valuable than anything else, you know?
That's incredible. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think that is the one commodity you can't buy, and you should cherish every opportunity you have to, you know, get the time back or use it as wisely as you can. And I think you guys are absolutely doing that. And the people you're with are doing that as well. Again, it's this ecosystem that you've created, which is beautiful. It's amazing.
Absolutely.
Wow. Incredible. Can you share the Instagram page of what your mom is?
So her name's Julie, but her nickname with a lot of her friends is Jules. So it's Alts Queen Jules, ALS Queen JULES.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to splash that on the screen right now.
Cool.
Yes,
Thank you.
That's awesome. Yeah, please go follow the page
thank you.
and see all these amazing things that you're doing with your mom, and hopefully it'll inspire other people who are, you know, going through something similar, the exact same thing. I love the Play-Doh therapy. I think is Super cool. And I've heard music therapy is really good for people with
Yeah.
Alzheimer's. Of course, I mean, the memory association and stuff. Hotel California, I'm sure, something that she absolutely remembers, right? So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
incredible stuff. Amazing. Now, we're talking a little bit. You talked about your goon friends and stuff, and I love that. I mean, you guys, Brie, I think, has created, maybe this is something you've collaborated together on, but The Weird and Wonderful, I believe is called, right? Talk a little bit about that and what inspired you to create that. And is that something you guys are doing together? Or is this more of your thing, Brie?
No, I mean, he's not directly involved, but a good friend of ours, Thomas Turner, he's the founder of Relentless Beats,
Yes.
who, if you don't know, is they put on some of the dopest music events in Arizona and the region. He had this idea to create an in-house performer troupe for the company that encompassed all kinds of live performance art and visual art, and kind of gave a space to his community within that event scene to be a part of the show. And I was teaching his kids. I still teach his kids at a dance studio close to where they live. And we've had a relationship with him and his amazing wife Amy for a really long time. And I think that he was able to see a little sliver of what I was doing with his kids and the stuff that I was producing for the dance studio and the events that we were working on together. And he asked me to kind of lead the charge on bringing Weird and Wonderful to life. So
Wow.
yeah,
It's phenomenal what the images and just the inclusiveness of this like amazing, I don't want to call it a sideshow or like a freak show, but I
it's
think
all
that
of those things
Yeah, it
though.
is.
Yeah, we're proud of that.
For those who don't know what it is, I think that would be a great moniker to tag it as. But I mean,
Yes.
it's such a beautiful thing because you have all these incredible people with such cool, unique talents. Now getting a platform to showcase those, and
Right.
the design, the dance, all of it is really kind of your brainchild a little bit, I
Yeah.
think, and that is just one of the many showcases of your talents, Brie. But
Thank
It's
you.
cool. It's-
Thanks.
It's been cool to watch. Excuse me. It's been cool to watch, and it comes at a cost as well, because it's like no, I'm just saying she puts her heart and her soul into it, and I don't think people realize the scale of how big that was. I mean, there was there was one point, I think there was like 50 something performers.
Yeah, I think our biggest installation was like 60 performers at once for
Wow.
one show's Gold Rush 2021.
Yeah.
And it sometimes it's only 5 people, sometimes it's 35 people. It just kind of depends.
Yeah, but you got these. I mean, you have. We love weirdos, obviously, but I mean, all of these things are being done in house. So we live in a fairly conservative, gated community, and you got people that are riding tricycles and blowing fire and swallowing swords, walking down the street. You know what I mean?
Well, they're
And
not doing that in
not
our
as
street.
they're walking down the street.
They're just coming over for, sometimes a rehearsal or a costume fitting or whatever.
Sure. But like, if there's 50, 60 people, there's 50, 60
That's a
costumes
lot.
or 120 costumes. So, her attention is
Yeah.
just.
We have a whole storage space that's just costuming, a costuming inventory. It's pretty miraculous.
That is so cool.
Yeah, we do regular rehearsals surrounding some of the bigger shows. But something that a lot of people don't know that we also do is we get together and we have at least once annually a workshop where we not only workshop all of the physical skills, whether it's stilt walking, juggling, acrobat, dancing, all the things that are showcased in a live performance. But we also, and this is my passion part, talk about professionalism as artists and try and help lift each other up in ways where we can understand what it means to be a professional performer, a professional artist. Because at the end of the day, professionalism is always going to trump talent. And I think so many talented people in the world never really find their way towards success because no one's ever really taught them about how to be a professional.
Sure.
So that's a really big part of the cause that people on the show side don't get to see, but it's one of the most important parts of Weird and Wonderful.
Yeah.
You're a coach. You're a coach, absolutely.
That's amazing. That's such a a huge undertaking because there's so many moving parts, right? I mean, you are
Yes.
directing, you're handling the choreography, the design of the costumes, I mean, so much. Do you have a team that works
Yes.
with you on this?
Yes,
or
I do.
yours- Okay, thank God. I'm like,
Yeah.
that would
Oh
make
no, I'm not alone.
anybody
There's no way I could do it by myself.
crazy.
It's funny because when we started off and we were talking about all the things that we've, I guess, accomplished, and my upbringing, her upbringing has made us be like kind of jack of all trades, master of none, right? You kind of have to learn how to do all these things and all these skills, and we've been doing that for so long, and it's like I feel like the reason that I'm finally having fun again and making the quality of things and the art that I'm making is because I've now leaned on the people around me to take pieces of this and kind of, not tried to do something so much. If someone's good at this, figure out a way to get them compensated for that and back off of them and let them be creative. And,
Yeah.
so it's a necessity at first when you're coming up as an artist. You have nothing, so you got to fight for everything. I know how to do Photoshop. I know how to do, web design. Not very good, but I know how to do all these things. And now when I'm in a room, I can discuss that with somebody who does do those things and articulate my vision to them. So
That's a huge skill that you've honed over so many years. Yeah, I mean, honestly, being able to just communicate and have familiarity with so many different areas, right? Like the entire Weird and Wonderful thing. I mean, right? Like you've taken a culmination of all these things that you've learned, and now you can throw it together, build a team. And again, trusting other people to,
yeah.
create
That's
your
hard.
vision is hard, I imagine, especially as a perfectionist.
Yeah,
right? Both
that's
of you.
been my biggest challenge with all of it is that I have a very specific vision. When I'm first putting together these goals and these plans, like every detail is accounted for in my mind. And you have to learn to be resilient and know that not all of it's going to work out. And my ego wants to do all of the things myself, right? Because I know that I'm capable of doing each of those things, but I'm not capable of executing all of that and still maintaining, my sanity and the quality of every detail. So being able to relinquish control, not only just on the delegation of tasks, but also some of the creative control, because you can't expect others to contribute 100% of their passion and energy without giving them some creative liberty.
Yeah.
And that's hard for me. But when I break myself down and allow it to happen, that's when the most magical things come to fruition. So
For sure.
I'm learning to embrace and love it more than I once did.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I mean, I've definitely had a clamp on things at various, even current places in my career, and certain recent circumstances have allowed me to kind of back off of those things. And, it's kind of nice because now it's allowing me to have more time to be creative. And it almost sounds weird, but I forgot to be creative in certain ways. You know what I mean? Because I was focusing on the community and I was focusing on making sure everyone else was good. And, so it's nice to give some of that power away and kind of sit back and go, oh, shoot, I can, even if it's not what I exactly had in mind, it's kind of nice. It's different than what I was going to go with. And now I got another idea. And now I can go this direction and play off of that. So
Yeah.
That's wicked cool. I
Yeah.
love that. That's the result of letting go and now creating maybe a more open space to create new things that you never would have imagined had you been on that tunnel vision
Yeah.
of yourself. I think it's
Yeah.
super cool. That's really neat.
Yes, sir.
What's consuming the majority of your time right now? Is it the hot chick? Is it the band? Is it the tequila brand? Is it the DJing?
Excuse me. I mean, the hot chick has definitely consumed the majority of my time in the last 5 years, and I'm very proud of it. I'm very proud of what we do over there, and what I don't want to say we're on autopilot, but we figured out our systems. We figured out, certain nights that we've put a lot of work into, so it's allowed to kind of back off of those nights and then focus on other nights. I guess most of my time right now. I would say it's 30% probably running the business, like the payroll side and making sure people are paid and the taxes and that kind of stuff, because I have to be on that. I just feel like I have to make sure that everything's good there because I don't want to go to jail and that kind of stuff,
Okay, fair.
And then, 30% would definitely be like the hot chicken. Now 30% was probably focusing on the music again and trying to be more creative so that I can have these ideas to make new things like the hot chick. Because when, like, you know, when you're just sitting there and you're going through the rat race, man, I'm not a corporate person.
Yeah.
As you can see, as
You're
you
not
know.
a worker bee at all. No.
No, I mean, I'm a hard worker, but I'm not a guy that punches the clock and sits there. And, you know, when I do have to be in that type of environment, I tend to lose my creativity and I tend to get sad and I tend to, you know, not, you know, lash out at certain things. And so I feel like this, even though it's consuming a lot of my time with the mixing and the creating of the music right now, it's giving me new ideas and I'm starting to feel happy again. And I'm starting to feel creative and coming up with crazy ideas. And it's something that I've needed for a long time. So
That's
yeah.
awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know if you want me to talk about the band stuff or what. You
Absolutely.
were talking about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is Sancho's band? I think it's like a hip hop reggae thing. But
Yeah.
correct me.
Well, all right. So my initial idea with it, I don't know if you know what a Sancho is. Anyone that, like, in the last 4 to 5 years, I've been learning Spanish through my buddy Dan, and so I'm very proud of that because it's you know, everyone tells me I sound like a drunk white boy, but rightfully so. It's opened a lot of doors to people that, you know, I never would have been able to talk to or understand or whatever. And so a Sancho is like your side dude. Like if you're like cheating on your husband or whatever, and with me, I'd be the Sancho, right? And it's also
Me, I'd be
so Sancho, right? But it's it was a nod towards Sublime. You know, like it was, you know, tell Sanchito that I got that 4-5, you know, whatever. So I wanted to make a reggae band. I know a lot of guys in different bands, and I wanted to make almost like a digital jam band that if somebody came through town, I could zero out the instruments and they could jump in on a guitar, jump in on a horn, and play live. And so that was the initial idea, and we did a performance, and then everyone was like, "Wow, you guys are amazing at singing. You guys should start your own thing." And so, you know, at first I was just like, really? You know, okay. So then we sat down and I have 2 amazing bandmates, Chris Laurie and Christian Gamma. Chris is an amazing guy, very, very seasoned in his own right, does 9 gigs a week type thing, playing guitars. Christian's in an amazing band, the Chadwicks. And, you know, they move around and they do their thing. So we all came together and started writing tunes. And it's kind of turned into we were talking this last night. It's not just a reggae band. It's whatever we want it to be band. And it's rooted in reggae, but we're calling it deconstructed reggae. Like it's a reggae bass, but there's hip hop drums, there's jazz bass, you know, sliding, you know, that kind of stuff. And so, you know, we're just writing what feels good. And you know, we want to get this
good. It's really good.
Thank you.
I'm so excited.
It's hard to find a lot of stuff online right now because you're not really releasing much to show other than, I mean, go to a show type of thing. But are you guys even playing out yet?
No, thank you for noticing. I feel like one of the things I hate is when musicians go, get ready for the thing. Like, shut up, dude, just release it.
Big things coming.
Yeah, it's like,
right.
So, you know, and there's an amount of, you know, priming and marketing.
Of course, you need to build some hype, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I'm doing it like instead of like being in the studio and going, and I'm going to play something for you that no one else is going to hear after this. But
I can't wait.
you know, like I'll just like say we're tracking a tambourine or something on our Instagram. I'll just do the tambourine just by like get the dude like tracking and I'll be like tambourine solo coming soon or something. So we're being like tongue in cheek.
It's clever, yeah. It's absolutely clever because it builds some buzz around it, but it's funny and it's still like, okay, we can't wait to see what happens here because we know it's going to be good.
I'm really proud of it. And I don't want to suck up too much of the spotlight, but
go.
I have one other project. I was telling you 2020, my friend Dan G is an amazing, amazing artist. He did the Rally the Valley, and he's got a legacy of great music already. Shout out to Megawatts too for that. We locked in, and 2020, everyone had their back against the wall. We couldn't do anything.
Yeah,
and I really did not want to make hip hop. I just hated the transactionalism of it. I hated all that, and I really sounded like a white boy making beats, to be honest with you. It wasn't very good. And, you know, anytime that I'm challenged with, you know, my back being up against the wall, I fight. And me and my guy sat down and I was just like, if you don't care and I don't care, let's just see what comes out. And we just started doing different various substances and things and making tunes and
Remember the bad thing?
yeah, I mean, I'll leave it at that. I mean, like I said, there were some dark times, and I'm not ashamed to say that, because we got through and we got out, and here we are.
Yeah, I mean, we all did what we had to do to
Absolutely.
survive and get through it.
Yeah.
So no judgment.
But yeah, what came out was a snapshot of, at the time, was either us, I don't know what the word is, like jumping into a character or painting a picture of what we wanted to be outside of being locked in this room.
Yeah.
Or just what was on our hearts, and at the end of the day, not giving a shit about where the song was going to go or who was going to hear it or if anybody ever heard it or if anybody ever liked it. Yeah. So I'm finishing up this album with Dan. It's called My Bad for Having a Good Time. And I'm doing the final mixes this week, and we should drop in the next month.
It's also really
That's exciting,
freaking
man.
good.
Thanks, yeah.
I cannot wait to hear all of this culmination of just this exciting energy, right? Some good, some negative, positive. I can't wait to hear it, man. Full support on this side of the room. But I think that there's a lot of people who are really cheering you on. And,
thank you, bro.
I mean, you've built such a community. Again, you've supported so many other people that I think everybody's really excited to see.
Thank you. And thank you. I said this before we cracked the cameras, but you've always been really cool, man. And thank you for your support.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
No, of course. Yeah. Light attracts light, you know?
Straight up.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Thanks for sharing that, man.
Yeah.
We are. Yeah, I speak for everyone that we're really excited and waited anticipation for this to come out. So yeah, be sure to go and follow the Instagram pages. What are they?
At Sancho's Band, SANCHOS Band, and then I think Dan is at DanG602, and mine's at Slippy Official, SLIPPE Official.
Perfect.
And then
Yeah.
All right, so Brie, what's consuming, the bulk of your time right now? What are you up to?
That's an interesting question. I am in, I think, a transition.
Okay.
In my life, in my career. I don't know if it's like a weird midlife thing, but all the family stuff going on. Yeah. And like I said, I just turned 40. And some of the things that I'd really been putting a lot of my energy into career-wise have slowed a little bit. I am not enough of a business person to say whether or not it's because of the economy or, whatever it is, but that's just the nature of being an artist, right? All of the projects that we throw ourselves into are not going to be permanent. And we know that after having this much experience, 20 years being a career artist and career creative, you just learn to kind of expect that. Yeah. So a lot of the stuff that I've been doing was primarily event-based, like event creative production for events. And that's still a thing. That's still a very exciting path forward for me. But as I've kind of, ebbed and flowed in that area, I've realized that I want to get back to, similar to Steve, my own artwork and putting some energy and time into my own projects that are just the creations that are coming from my soul and my mind, and not necessarily the things that I'm creating for my clients, which has been what I've been working on for so long, because when the money's there, you got to take it.
Absolutely, yes. If you get commissioned or whatever, you take it. Right,
mm-hmm. Exactly. And sometimes it's not what you want to be creating the most, but to be given an opportunity to paint a canvas or create costumes for someone else and still get paid is like amazing. So yeah, but things are looking a little different right now for the time being. So I have been working hard on getting back to creating, my painting, maybe some like mural ideas that I have in mind. I've been doing some wardrobe styling and merch creation potentially for these guys, which I'm really excited about. Yes.
Project? Oh,
yes, Sancho's
sweet.
And for the album with Dan G.
Yeah, okay.
As I said, fashion is my first passion. So I love that I'm able to start creating some of these things for people that not only we're working with, but that I care about as friends, and kind of put my fashion spin on, making something that's more exciting than just like a regular merch product. So,
absolutely.
So those are some of the projects.
She hasn't told us.
I'm going to do a reveal when they do their album release.
Incredible.
I'm so excited.
You have to come out, man, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. I'll
Yeah.
definitely connect with you. I
That'd be
would
great.
love to be there.
She like
100%.
won't even let me I'll be going like past her studio at the house and
close the
she's like,
laptop?
don't come in here. And I'm like, I'm not. I've got blinders on. And then like my boy came over the other night, Daniel, and I was like, don't you go in there, bro.
Trust
Yeah.
me.
I love surprises and I love
Yes.
surprising people. So, plus, I feel like I don't want to stifle my pure creativity by allowing them to see it and insert opinions too
course.
soon. So,
Yeah.
I want to like finish it and then we'll revise and whatever. But sorry, I think that what we want to try to do is like seasonal drops for each of these, almost like brands,
Yes.
you know?
And we want, like, I mean, she's part of the band, you know what I mean? Like, she's part of what's going on. And I mean that, like, you know, my boy Looney, like, you know, he does, you know, helps me with my podcast and we own a company together. You know, he's part of the band. We don't want to outsource things that we don't have to. If you're here and you're with us and you know our personality and you're a part of our vibration, then you're part of the band. And we want to keep that tight. And, you know, if things get crazy and we got to move around together, then we know who each other are and we know, you know,
Yeah.
how
I
much each other mean to each other.
And I was literally in like every recording session for at least one of these albums that's about to come out. So
yeah, a lot of the stuff with G is like, again, as an artist, I've been so like 1, 2, 3, 4 boxed in. Where's this gonna go? What's this gonna do? And we just stopped caring, and we stopped caring so much that like I stopped caring if people were in the room drinking, clanking glasses and things. So in the
it's
background,
part of the character. Yeah.
absolutely.
I think that's so cool.
And like in the back of the recordings, you know, sometimes Dan will do like we call it a box session, right? And it's where I'll just crack the mic and he'll just go and he'll freestyle for 3 minutes, and at the end of the 3 minutes, he'll just laugh because he's impressed at how dope he was. Or you'll hear her in the back go, "Oh man," or you know what I mean?
Or
It's
there's also me in the background, like drunk, calling the cat into the room.
yeah. And we left it all in there.
This was during quarantine.
That is
so yeah.
creative though, because I mean, there's been so much saturation and created things that are inside that box. Now you're stepping outside and being like, hey, this is live. It's recorded, but it's live, and you know,
Absolutely.
this is step into our world, and this is what it's going to sound like if you're sitting here with us.
Yeah.
Doing this session.
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
That's wicked.
And
cool.
people, their vibe, you know, helped. Her vibe absolutely helped create those tunes. So it's cool to give people a little glimpse, or you know, like we've done a lot of shout outs in it to people that were in the room, or you know.
Yeah. I
It's
try to stay out of their process just because I don't want to be that person who's in there, like uneducated non-musician chiming in or whatever, you know. I try to like make sure I'm not that person, but it's fun when they invite some of us in to just like sit there and witness it all or laugh or, you know, whatever. It's a vibe.
Yeah,
it's cool.
that's amazing, man. To be a fly or a cat in your house.
Yeah.
Would be the most.
The cats
I hope I
have
get
stories.
reincarnated and come back and get to live with you guys.
Yeah.
No,
The
you
cats
would
have
just
a
have
good
to come,
life.
I was
They
gonna say you
do.
just got to come over and sit in a session. We actually
Yeah.
we're gonna leave Carl as one of my cats on we're gonna call it the meowtro.
Yes.
He's a very vocal cat.
Carl is a legend. I should have asked you to bring Carl to the
Yeah,
session
he
today.
might be a little sketched out.
Yeah.
He'd be hiding under the couch.
He doesn't
yeah.
leave the castle very
Yeah,
often.
that's
Yeah,
fair.
yeah.
That's fair.
For sure.
No, that's neat though. I'm glad that you're now having new space to kind of create your own stuff.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
and see where this is going to take you. And
Yeah.
again, I have no doubt in my mind that you guys are just going to continue to level up, right? Continue to climb that next mountain and just show the world the amazing things that you guys are capable of creating.
Sure.
Because it's
Thank
just
you.
Thank you.
whatever the energy that you guys were born with is wild and it's special. It is 100%
Thank you.
special,
Thank you,
and
man.
I'm
Thank you.
pleased that you guys are
Yeah.
just continuing to do the things that you're doing, and together, you
Yeah.
guys are 100% just amazing individuals, but together, your powers combined, like, damn, you guys are doing mega things. So I'm just a champion for you guys, and
Thank you,
and
brother.
So
Appreciate
proud,
it.
so
that.
proud to know you, and again, thank you for taking the time to chill with me today. I mean, so many more things to talk about, guys, but you know,
We need a part 2
yeah,
or what?
absolutely. But I do want to ask, is there anything else that you guys need to shout out or would like to shout out? Anybody that you didn't get a chance to mention, or any pages, any references?
Oh my gosh, this part's like really hard for me. You know, I shy away from social media just and all the things, but I shouldn't.
No,
So
it's okay
this is
though.
good for me. My Instagram page is at Brie Bridge, BRIBRIDGE,
Go follow
which is my artist name. Brie Luter is my government official name.
it.
Government.
Oh, you did. If you did change your name,
Yeah, I did.
okay. I was curious if
did.
I can call you the Looters or not, but
Yes, we
Okay.
are the Luters, absolutely. But my family, artist legacy, I think I'm probably the last Bridge that's seeking that as a career path. So I wanted to carry that on in my artist name.
that's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you can find all of my work there, everything from dance choreography to painting to costume design, anything that I'm doing, Play-Doh, abstract art.
Very cool. No,
Yeah.
and the website briebridge.com.
Same thing, briebridge.com.
A very cool website too, by the way. Awesome.
Thank you.
It's neat to see all of these elements of things that you're up to. It's like, dang, this girl does everything. Kind of like you, man. I mean, it's like, a Jill of all trades, right?
Thank
There
you.
we go.
Thanks.
That's dope.
about you?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly just, the Celaya thing, I don't have any day to day. It's more just an investment that I got into through some friends, and it's going really well. I drink it. You should too.
Tequila, yeah?
Yeah. So it's great. It's a great product. At Drink Celaya is the socials. The Hot Chick at the Hot Chick AZ is definitely our baby, and we love the community that we have there, and we'd love for you to come down and hang with us. And I guess that's it for me, man. I don't know, unless
Okay, perfect. Well, I'm going to ask you one last question. I'm going to ask each of you. I'll ask you first, even though I know you're like, oh, he took my answer. But but I want to ask you, I asked all my guests this, and there's no right answer. Take a moment to think about it. But I really want to know, from your perspective, what to you makes a person legendary?
just one word. Or
Oh, no, a sentence, paragraph, a book, whatever. Yeah. What qualities, what things make a person legendary?
empathy, humility, awareness, sensitivity, compassion, gangster, adversity. I could keep going, but yeah, I'll let her take.
I like
some.
that. No, that's very cool. I like that. Nobody's given specific qualities yet. Usually they're just like, oh, I think it's a person who does X, Y, Z, which is, I mean, again, every single answer, amazing. And I hope to write a book someday of everybody's entries.
I think that, I guess the last thing is that I was thinking about earlier is when we're talking about people with chronic diseases or illnesses, is just asking somebody if they're okay. Asking somebody, how you feeling, man? How you doing?
Check in.
You all right?
Yeah.
Like, don't insert your opinion. Hey, man, how you doing? You all right? Can I do anything for you? Can I help? I think that's what the compassion part of making somebody a legend, being a human being. Like you said when we started, bro, we've always been chill. I've always been chill with you because I'm just another dude like you, bro. All this shit don't matter. But like the fact that we're still talking, 15 whatever years later is testament to when you're nice to somebody or you're humble and you're friendly, that it vibrates and it carries. So
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. No, well said. Well said.
Yeah.
All right, Brie, you've had some time to think about it.
I mean, obviously, I agree with everything that he said and more, but I like the saying that the day you die is when a person speaks your name or anyone speaks your name for the last time. I just think that that's really poignant to how important it is that we connect with others. And obviously, achieving some kind of global fame makes people say your name for, time eternally. And that's truly legendary, but I don't think it has to be on that level. I think that just making sure that we're making genuine connections with as many people as we can will make you a legend.
Beautiful. I love that. And yeah, to that point, I think that's the goal of this podcast, is to showcase that anybody can be a legend, right? Just be about yourself, be about your life and your business, and surround yourself with incredible people. And yeah, you can 100% be a legend. But great answers, guys. Thank you so much. Honestly,
you,
this was such a great interview, such a fun time. Just talking about all the cool things that you guys are doing, the stories. I mean, just lots of love to you guys. 100%.
Thank you. Same to you. We've never done anything
grinding.
like this together, so this is the first time, man.
Amazing,
Heck yeah.
amazing. Yes. Well, I cannot wait for people to see into the life of the things that you guys have created, and I definitely encourage everybody to go and share, go and follow, go and support what these two incredible human beings are up to.
Thank you, man.
But yeah, with that, we'll close it out. So thank you everybody for watching. Please share this episode with your friends, like and subscribe if you can't support what we're doing here. But thank you so much for watching. And don't forget, stay legendary and be legendary. Bye, everybody.
Let's go.